So the weather's been real crappy, cold. It's still cold. I didn't get much done the last couple of days because of it, and this is a project I'm going to work on. I'm going to use this to put my miter saw on for a temporary fix, and where I can screw it down to that deck to do a lot of cutoffs. So I'll be screwing this one down like that, and then I'll be putting these along the edge. It's a little tapered to the back, so then I'll slide it in, and that'll hold the saw in place where I can put a stop block and chop all my studs, cut all my studs to the same size as soon as this weather breaks. But I think we got 3 or 4 more days of rain, so I'll just have to piddle around in here to get a few projects done to make things easier on me once the weather breaks. So this is one of them. So this is just a temporary fix, so I'm just going to, it's not a permanent thing, I just need enough to, I don't even have to be glued, but I do want to put decent screws in it that'll hold. So make sure these are the right ones. Yeah, they should do the trick. I don't want to bust this out, so that means I got to get my drill and my drill bits. It's the drill bits I use for this one. So somehow it didn't record. Oh, my miter saw is set right in here, nice and smooth. I can take it out when the weather breaks. I can take it out back, screw it down in a couple places, slide my saw in. Because I always push back against the fence on the miter saw, this is never going to work out of this pocket, so it'll be screwed down. Now I use my fender well as my support to cut it to length, so I can put me a stop block and a support in there, and I can cut all my wall studs exactly the same length in one go. So as soon as the weather breaks, you'll be seeing me use this a lot more, and when I'm finished with it, I can take it apart, use the plywood for something, use these for something. You know, it just scrap pieces that I had laying. It's no big deal. So there we go. It's just a temporary stand build for my chop saw, because my stand will not accurately, consistently cut. I'd have to mark every board. Once I get it one cut right and put in place, I can put every one of them up there, cut it, just move it, cut it, just move it. I won't have to mark it, I won't have to do nothing. So that's why I built this, for a temporary. The stand's great, but it just does not work for repetitive cuts. It's just for 1 or 2 cuts, you know, it's not nothing major. So any of my cripples and headers and all that I'll have to cut, I can do on the stand if I need to. So I could also use the setup I've got, but we'll have to see if I actually use it, because it may be in the way when I start laying out walls. we'll go from there and see how it works.
So I finally got a halfway decent day. Actually, the sun is coming out. I see blue skies. It was raining earlier, but I want to get this done. So this is my chop saw. It's set up, ready to go. And this is how I make sure I cut the end. I got a stop block. I got it where it's level across the deck, and then I got a push block here that keeps them square. So I'm gonna buzz through these, cut a bunch of my studs for my wall, and like I said, all this is all used lumber. You can see it's got sheetrock mud on it and other stuff, still staples and all kinds of stuff in this. So like I said, I'm gonna buzz through this, make me a bunch of studs for my wall, get ready to start framing up my walls, and try to get this boxed in before any more damage happens to the floor. Well, I believe I finally hit a steeple. Great. So I set the saw up where the corner just catches here when I'm cutting length of rafters, and then I can pull the saw out just a little bit from the back and get a good square cut on this. So That's what I'm doing. I'm cutting my long bottom plate and top plate right now.